Well, hello and welcome to another video by Financial Learning. On today's video, we're going to take a look at CleanSpark Inc.'s data center site in the state of Georgia. This is going to be site number one for the state. We're going to be looking at things such as overall megawatts currently available at the site. What was that facility used for prior to CleanSpark's acquisition? Also, how does the fiber look like for that specific site location? And then finally, we'll take a look at some of the satellite imagery for that site. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so stick with me. We're going to go over this CleanSpark data center, site number one here in Georgia, College Park. Now, there's a lot to cover. I'll be going over two slides for this one location. We're going to start with a lot of the property details, and then the second slide is going to be a lot more regarding the HPC AI capability. Can this site be used? We will find out together. All right, and starting with this slide, I got a lot of this information from the property appraiser site, also use Google Earth, and one of the really neat features within the property appraiser site allowed me to basically look at a snapshot in time with various satellite images just to confirm exactly how much construction and changes have been going on with CleanSpark, this College Park location. Now I can tell you this location is a pretty mature location. In fact, most of the construction was completed sometime between 2021 and 2022 based on the satellite images. But I want to break it down with you. Starting at the top right, you're going to see the parcel IDs here, and this is owned by CSRE Properties LLC. And if you have been covering the various videos with me on the Tennessee sites, you would know that CleanSpark has multiple LLCs that they do use in order to purchase properties, and you can find that information on one of their SEC filings. Now you can see here that this location is at 2380 Godby Road, and it is 5 acres for the first parcel, and then the adjacent parcel is about 0.826, so almost 6 acres of land here. And you can see at the bottom left, this image was taken earlier this year in February, and you can see it's fully built out using almost 100% of this 6 acre property. And this site has almost 50 megawatts. We'll talk about that on the next slide. But I also wanted to point out a couple other items. Now, Max from X, he was really excited and did talk about College Park today, and that got me excited to dig out this specific site. I have been prepping this for quite some time, and I'm glad that I did because when you just look on Google satellite images, it doesn't look like it's fully developed, but when you do a much thorough approach by looking at Google Earth and also looking at the property appraiser site, you're going to see that the majority of this site is fully built out. Now, at the top right, you're going to see some of those ASIC miners. Those are the air-cooled miners, and they are at the top left of that parcel near that street of Godby. Now, at the bottom right, I actually have it flipped around about 90 degrees so you can kind of see it looking straight in towards the building from the 2380 Godby Road side on the right-handed portion of that picture. You can see a couple of those green boxes. Now, those green boxes are transformers. Those are used to step down the electricity for these various ASIC mining buildings. And then you're going to see a lot of the other ASICs that were all put in place. Now, this facility did start out around 20 megawatts, and it has been greatly improved since CleanSpark first purchased it back in 2020. Arch lending is redefining the way people access financial solutions. Don't want to get hit with high sales tax or missed opportunity with a sale of your crypto? Consider a crypto loan. At Arch Lending, your assets remain untouched. They stay secure. And as a US based company, they stay within all the compliance of most US states and also international jurisdictions. With a loan to value ratio up to 60%, an interest rate starting at 9.5%, go ahead and open up your crypto back loan. Use promo code EH_50 off to get started, or click the link in the description of this video. All right, and on this slide here, we're going to be talking a lot about the HPC AI capability. Let's start with a little history behind this specific site here in College Park. It says in December of 2020, CleanSpark agreed to purchase the Atlanta data center in College Park. The facility was originally designed for 20 megawatts of total capacity, and upon purchasing the facility, CleanSpark began the process of expanding the facility to 50 megawatts. A March 22 AK filed with the FCC indicates that the facility is operational at 47 megawatts. So they more than doubled the overall power under contract at this site. And remember, this is a little under 6 acres, and the majority of this specific plot was fully developed for the data centers here for Bitcoin mining. Now, it did start out originally as a 20 megawatt data center here for HPC. And if you look at some of the original images that are part of this College Park acquisition, you can see it does have some older data center structures on the left hand side. This would be where a lot of those GPUs would be housed. And then you can see some cooling piping and things of that nature, as well as some redundancy here already built into this 20 megawatt site that has expanded to 47. So CleanSpark does have a good amount of power under contract here. They would just need to negotiate the rates for a more reliable uptime for this specific site because, of course, they're not going to want to curtail power here in College Park as an HPC AI data center. Now, another thing I wanted to point out before we read the latest press release is going to be the directions to the Atlanta airport. It's only a 5 minute drive, less than 2 miles away from the Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport. This is the huge airport here in Atlanta, Georgia. So if they needed any data center support, this would be an ideal setup for both Atlanta and CleanSpark. So I just wanted to point that out. And then in terms of fiber network, I did do the same thing I did when I was reviewing the Tennessee sites. I have it set up for business fiber and the highest speed possible. And you can actually see that this specific site location is just outside of coverage. So again, they would need to drop some amount of fiber lines in order to connect to the already fully covered area just outside of their location. So again, being that this is so close to the Atlanta airport and this used to be an HPC data center, I think it is a great choice for a first start here in the HPC AI. Now, let's read the latest press release that just came out this month in October regarding CleanSpark and this College Park location. So it says, we have been reviewing the entire portfolio from first principles to evaluate AI suitability and have identified Georgia as a strategic region for both potential conversion as well as expansion, said Scott Garrison, Chief Development Officer and Executive Vice President. We recently contracted for additional power and real estate in College Park to deliver high value compute to the greater Atlanta metro area and are evaluating giga campus opportunities across the portfolio and pipeline that are well positioned to satisfy significant off-taker demand with Jeff, who is the new HPC AI Vice President for CleanSpark. He's the one that has over 40 years of experience in developing multiple HPC data center sites. Now, finishing the rest of this, it does say we are ready to rapidly scale and continue maximizing the value of our growing power and land footprint. So I also did a quick search from the center of Atlanta to this specific site location. It was just a 15-minute drive. So again, very close to a very highly populated metro area here in the state of Georgia. So in my opinion, this is an ideal HPC AI setup here, and I am really excited and looking forward to seeing how CleanSpark leverages this specific campus, as well as expanding into any other campuses within this College Park area. All right, and that about wraps up for me, folks. I hope you enjoyed this update on College Park, Georgia's site location number one. If you did like the video, consider giving it a like. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already so you don't miss any new content as it comes out. And then go ahead and drop a comment. What is your thoughts on this specific site for CleanSpark? Do you think it would be a great HPC AI data center? Love to get that feedback from you. So with all that said, hope you all have a great rest of your day. Keep calm, hash on, and I'll see you on the next one.